And as soon as this cooperates, I'll be ready to go. Here we go. Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, featuring the best unsigned rock and metal that Pennsylvania has to offer right here on start that over. Right here on buildthescene.com, xrpradio.co.uk in Birmingham, United Kingdom, on Mega Rock Radio GD 107.1 FM in St. Louis, Missouri, in Rootaroo Radio on Ocean Beach, San Diego, California, and also on Alt Rock Radio in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. This is episode number 534, and with me tonight are Mike and Paul from Blackridge. What's up, gentlemen?
What's happening, man?
Hey, Bill. Thanks for having us.
Want to know what happened there? I usually do that by memory, and I was reading it tonight, and it screwed me up.
I heard X, and I immediately thought something dirty, so that's where I went with that. Sorry.
That's xrpradio.co.uk. Their owner keeps trying to get me to do a live show on their station, which would be cool, but I don't know when I have time to do that.
Fit it in somewhere, Bill. That would be awesome, man.
Yeah, if you find the time, man, definitely do that. Definitely do that.
Well, the thing is, I have my own station, and I don't even go live on mine.
Yeah, it's hard to find the time, man.
If I could figure out how to do it while I was driving, I'd be golden.
I mean, hey, you could fandangle something.
I have to get someone to ride shotgun, stay at my school for 8 hours and do nothing, and then ride home with me to.
You got some kids.
Do two shows.
Yeah. Have a personal assistant with you.
Hire a PA.
My kids go to school in New Kent, and I teach in Bell Vernon, so that doesn't work.
No, not quite.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, let's start off with an obvious question. How are things going during the pandemic for the band as a whole?
Do we have a lighter and a dumpster anywhere near? Because I would like to light it on fire. Because it's been pretty much that. It's been kind of a dumpster fire. We've had every paid gig canceled. I think the only ones we've played were like Rock for Life and some other like kind of like outdoor festival type of shows.
I think I watched a benefit and Paul was running through the crowd. And
yeah.
I can't remember where it was, but it was a little stage. It looked like you walked into the woods like 10 feet.
Music for a Cure.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. Blueberry Hill. What was it? Yeah, Music for a Cure. That was a really good show. There was quite a few amount of people there. There was a lot of people there.
It was under 250, right?
Yeah.
Take the cue.
No, yeah,
there
it
you
probably
go.
was. Yeah, for sure.
Same thing with Rock for Life, under 250.
Right, yeah. Rock for Life was a ball this year. I had such a great time there.
I did not make it out there for the first time. And, well...
You lose two scene points, Bill. 2.
Well, here's the thing. I started going at 3. And this is the first one I've missed since.
Dang, dude.
So
I'd say you get a good pass for that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty good run there. That's a pretty long run.
I missed Gigaroo also. 2 different reasons. Gigaroo was because it was my nephew's first birthday and I was at his house in Center County.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite the difference.
That's far away. Seriously.
And then Rock for Life was like a week and a half away from the first day of school, and I had to be in the classroom, and I couldn't go to school knowing that I could have been in a situation where I might be passing something on. And
right.
Totally.
It hurt me. It hurt me a lot.
Rocktoberfest is coming up. I don't know if you're gonna check that out. Or is it the same type of deal? This
still kind of the same situation.
Yeah, you can't even go anywhere. What a mess. Mike's in the same situation. This is just I don't even care. Full clarity here. Blackridge doesn't care whatsoever. But like COVID has not just affected our shows, it's now affected our band practice because Mike goes to college. College is like a super spreader for basically COVID. So like now we can't even practice. Like it's a total mess, man.
Both my roommates have been both my roommates and even myself have tested positive, and we're all quarantining for the next 14 days. But I haven't shown any symptoms yet. Everything seems to be going pretty well, and I'm remaining optimistic that things will be okay here in the next couple of days. But like I said, I'm already at day 4, and things are going by pretty quick. I have the Elder Scrolls to thank for that.
Lots of video games.
I'm literally, we're back in the classroom 5 days a week, and I teach. Yeah. And the kids,
God bless you, Bill. God bless you.
The kids are staying in their classroom. So the only time they really leave is to use the restroom or fill a water bottle, go to gym class, or to go to lunch. The rest of the time they're in the room. And then the teachers are moving from room to room. So my day consists of, I have a plan period, a lunch period, and then I teach in 7 different classrooms.
Jeez.
Right. And you're basically living off of a cart at that point.
Yes. And the problem with living off a cart is we have a 2-floor school.
Oh, jeez.
So I have a cart upstairs. Downstairs, I only teach computer classes, so I just lug a laptop around down there. But upstairs, I'm teaching hands-on science, so there's definitely a cart. But anyway,
your situation gets a little better.
Crazy, man.
I mean, it is what it is. The kids are powering through, and we teachers are complaining. But anyway, so trying to think, Mike, I don't think, have you been on the show before?
No, I have. This is actually my first time ever being on.
Have you listened to the show?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've listened to it a bunch of times. We're good friends with the drummer from After the Fall, Matt Ferrante, obviously from playing all the different Rock for Lives. And every time you have him on the show, or one of his bands, one of his affiliates was Slant Six, or like I said, After the Fall, or Dimwit, or Common Crowd, or something, I try to tune in. He's a really good friend of mine. He's a really big role model for me in the music scene, and I like to try to keep up on his projects, as well as there's another band that I'm really into, Skell. Mike Pallone is an amazing guitar player, and I really like to check in with their stuff as well. Every time someone from that band, is on your show, I really like to check in and see what's going on.
I actually designed Skell's website, and I used to do After the Fall's website when they had one. So.
And Matt is now drumming for the Borstal Boys too.
Matt is drumming for any band that will let him.
He drummed for us one time. He filled in for
That's
a show.
The way to be, man. Yeah. He's like the Mike Portnoy of local music. He's a musical chameleon. It's ridiculous how many things he can do. I've seen that guy play R&B, funk, and metal all in the same show, all in an hour. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Back in one day that I can be that versatile and that musical of a person.
Back in, I think it was 2004 or 5, I helped put on a show with Fine Line News and Print, who had the AKEG, Ali Kiske Entertainment Guide. And I convinced Doppler Effect to come back out and play. They hadn't played because they didn't have a drummer.
Okay.
And they showed up, and Matt Franny sat down and played their whole set, all their originals. And
not surprised.
If I remember correctly, they did not practice together. Like he just showed up.
Drummer he is, man.
He's a professional through and through. I don't know if you've talked to him recently, but I know in the last, I was about to say 6 months, but God, it has to be maybe the past year or so. He actually opened up with Tesla and was playing with a internationally known artist for a little bit there. So things are definitely working out for him. I hope that they work out as well as for Black Ridge as they are for Matt and After the Fall and all those bands here soon. But we're on the right trajectory, and that's what matters.
Matt was the when the Pennsylvania Rock Show started a little over 16 years ago. I had music from just the bands that I was designing websites for, and I can't remember. I think I went to let's see, 2004. Yeah, it would have been After the Fall still at that point, or it might have been Super Zero, right? It was one of Matt's bands.
Million bands,
yeah.
You know.
But I went to practice, and he handed me a bag full of CDs, and I go, "What's this?" He goes, "It's all the local CDs I have. Start playing them."
That's so cool, man.
And I was like, "But I don't know how to get a hold of any of these bands. He goes, if any of them has a problem with it, tell them I gave it to you. No one has ever said, hey, stop playing my stuff.
Yeah, who's going to have a problem with that? Yeah, no doubt. Matt's awesome. Matt's such a good dude. Steve, too. They're all really cool guys. Like all those dudes in that whole Rock for Life community are really, really awesome dudes.
Yeah, they gave us our first shot with Rock for Life. The first year I was in Black Ridge in 2016, they gave us our first shot playing out there, and they've had us back every year since. We love it out there. We love playing there. They apparently love us because they keep having us back, and it's a really, really great relationship we have with those people. Like our singer Paul says, it's our reset button, if you will, being out there. It recharges the band. It really gives us, the spring to get into the fall and the winter. Speaking of the fall and winter, we're actually coming out with a new album here. We're getting done in the studio. We're wrapping up here on our new album. I think it's going to be called Beware, correct, Paul?
Yeah, I think that's the winner so far. We had two titles. We had Beware and You'll Never Stop This Machine, but we think Beware would just make a cooler cover. So I don't know. And it's timely. It's like October. We're hoping to get it out before the 31st, but it's kind of timely. So see what happens there.
I actually got my hands on two of the live tracks you did at the benefit that we were just talking about before Rock for Life. And we're gonna play one of them later, but it's Live Fast and Never Stop This Machine, which was what made me think about it.
Okay.
Which one of those would you rather play when we get to that point?
We'll do Live Fast first, because I think, now our shows, the ones that we do have, we open with that now.
Okay.
Okay.
So when we get to that point, that's the one we'll play.
Sweet.
So I know you've been in the studio and you've had a little bit of complication. We don't need to know about the complication part of it. Your faces are great. But do you have any cool stories from the studio so far on recording this one?
Oh man, so many. Our
the floor is yours, Mike.
Our producer Matt Very is a really good friend of mine, and I've been working with him ever since I first started recording. It was probably like 2012, maybe 2013. I used to play in a metal band called Shadows of Society, and we did our first two albums with Matt. So whenever Black Ridge decided to actually get a professionally done album, I knew he was the guy to go to. I immediately called him up and we talked about it and we got in there and we've had a great time ever since. You're right, we did have a little bit of some issue there with the first album, but I mean, everybody's really happy with the way everything sounds. And like I said, he's such an awesome guy and such an awesome producer. He's elevated us in ways that we honestly couldn't really even imagine. Like I was going to say, for example, in Beware, our newest album, the title track to that album is such a over-the-top produced song that you're gonna love it, Bill. It's honestly ridiculous what we've done to this song. It originally was really our weakest song on the album, and I apologize for saying that, Paul. But if you ask me, it really was. But I mean, the amount of collaboration we've had with Matt through that is ridiculous. I mean, we even have chain on that, actual pieces of chain on that album. We recorded it live in the studio, and that was honestly probably one of the funnest parts, but it's going to be really cool. We're really looking forward to sharing it with you.
Yeah, I don't want to liken it to Monster Mash or anything like that, but it kind of has that Halloween-y vibe, and that didn't even happen intentionally. I had this song years ago, and then I brought it to the band, and it just turned spooky somehow, with Tony's sax and like Mike said, the chain and all the gurgling and the bubbling toil and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
Are you gonna have to play a backing track if you guys play it live?
No, that's not a bad idea, to be honest. Or somebody do it live. We'll just have a cauldron sitting off to the stage and chains and somebody looking like Igor.
Player guy or our special effects guy,
Hey, why not? Slipknot can have somebody play a beer keg. Why can't we have somebody play chains? We totally could. Come on, Bill. Do you want to do it?
I mean, why not?
All right, we got it.
That'd be awesome.
Then when the bands come in and ask me whether or not I play anything, I'll be like, I play the chains.
I play the chains on the cauldron, bro. What do you play?
We're holding you to that next Rock for Life. If we're like able to play and you're going to be there, we're holding you to that.
For anyone who's looking at me and wondering what happened here, this is what happens when you wear a mask for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
I hear you.
And then I couldn't leave the pimple alone, so now it's going to scar. But
believe me, I'm just too far away from the camera, but I've got a couple of them about myself.
I have one there, and I have one down here that's hiding. There it is, right there. You can see it.
Well, the good news is your beard covers up most of them. I can't grow any facial hair to save my life, bro. I look like a 15-year-old boy everywhere I go.
I haven't been a 15-year-old boy in a long time.
It's been a while.
It's funny you mentioned that. I actually went to Burger King the other day, and I stopped over at the first window, and the woman pulls me aside, and she goes, "Geez, man, I thought by your voice you were a 40-year-old man, but you must just be a little boy. You got a deep voice." It was funny.
I get the opposite. People think I'm like 12. You know, I'm like, hey, you know, if I ever get like a lighter or anything like that, you know, smokes or anything like that, they're like, I'm going to need to see your ID. I'm like, oh, I'm 30. Are you kidding?
I'm going to be 44, just to put that into perspective.
Hey.
And I can't remember how it came up, but I was in my 5th grade class. They asked me about why do we need this stuff? So I went into this thing. I said, I'm not even going to tell you like a subject from school. I'm going to talk about HTML, which I taught myself. And I went through, which got me to this point where I'm doing the podcast, actually. But so I'm telling them the story, and I'm like, yeah, when I was 18 or 19, about 24 years ago, and one of the new students goes, "You're going to be 44?" And I'm like, yeah. He goes, "I thought you were 32. I was like, hey.
32 in your mind, kid. Yeah, but you asked for some interesting stories from the studio. Yep. Now, it got me thinking a little bit. When we did our synth track, I wish Corey was here to kind of elaborate a little bit, but when we did the synth track, what we did was we recorded it with MIDI, and then like whatever he would play would like pop up on the digital audio workstation, what we were using to record, obviously. It would pop up as like these like little buttons, these little like, I don't know, kind of like nodes, I don't know, where you could reposition them, and wherever you would reposition them was like a different note. Well, when we did that, like it was so intricate, and Matt, like going back to Matt Very, our producer, is like the best. I feel like he's like the best secret in Pittsburgh right now. Like when everybody finds out about him, like they're all going to be recording with him because he's amazing. Like we have these, I feel like our songs are pretty good, but when they get to him, they're like, they skyrocket to like a next element. Like this album, Good Time to Go, I couldn't be more proud of this. And it was kind of a crap show to even get this thing out. And it was all, you know, because of Matt really that it came out. But back to the synth thing, we recorded the synth parts, and you should have just seen him. Like it was like a mad scientist dragging these little like notes back and forth. And then he would re-record them through the program with different effects. Dude, it was amazing. I wish Corey was here to elaborate a little bit more because he's our keyboard player. He was actually going to be here, but he was like 5 minutes late, figures. But it was just so cool to have Matt do that. And I'm like sitting on the couch, you know, just kind of just enjoying what they were doing. You know, it was really awesome. Matt, the best kept secret in Pittsburgh right now. Matt Very.
What's the name of the studio that you guys were recording at?
Very Tight Recordings in Sharpsburg. Which is a pretty clever name because the dude's name is, you know, Matt Very.
Kind of worked out. No, it's really cool. He has like every guitar head imaginable for all the tech, like guitar guys out there, even the drummers. And he has a Hammond organ, a full Hammond organ with like a Leslie speaker. I mean, it's just over the top. Marshall heads and Fender amps. It's anything you could really want. He has it there too. You could show up there with no gear and record like the best thing anyone's ever heard. Stairway to Heaven again. It's crazy.
Why don't you tell me about the song Live Fast, and then we'll take a break and listen to it. But for those of you that are listening live on the Facebook live video, you're not going to hear the music because we're not going to play it, because if we play it, then they mute the whole video, and then there's no point in doing it this way. So
yeah, Facebook has turned into garbage, to be honest. It's a shame.
Well, here's what I think is going on, and Not being a musician, I think I have a different view of it than you guys would. I think what's happening is the royalty companies have gone after Facebook and said, hey, you're distributing this music, you need to pay the royalties. Mm-hmm. And because there's so much music that got put on there, they just can't afford it.
Yeah, no doubt.
That doesn't mean I'm happy that they're blocking it, but I think that's what happened.
Yeah, well, good thing that we have like so many originals. We have ones that are backed up now. That's pretty much all we're going to be able to post. But I mean, it just sucks. Like we got a lot of hits on like the Zeppelin stuff that we would post because Paul can do that stuff so well.
He's amazing at that.
Yeah, so that kind of that stinks. That kind of stinks. But I don't know. It is what it is. But Live Fast and Leave a Good Looking Corpse. That song, it's kind of interesting. Our songs really come about like several different ways. Like there's really no set formula how they come about. Like this song, I think it started as a jam. Like Mike maybe started the riff or the drum beat, and then I just started playing this simple kind of bluesy riff, sort of, but it had like an edge to it. And then Paul just comes up with these crazy words. Like sometimes I'll have like a chorus written and like a verse and like an idea or like a melody, and he'll tweak it a little bit. But this one was completely, he wrote the melody, the lyrics, and everything. And I always say, like, just kind of tongue in cheek, but like, it's such a bad message. Live fast and leave a good looking corpse. Like that's really a terrible message when you get down to it. You know what I mean? Just go crazy.
It sounds like such a party song when you're listening to it, though.
Yeah, just go down in flames. I guess that's kind of what it's like. I don't know, just driving off a cliff in flames, but you're still having a good time smoking a joint and then sipping a cocktail. I guess that's pretty much the image I think he's trying to portray there. But yeah, that's how it came about. Just kind of jamming, and it just kind of developed. We were like, well, what can we do to make it different? We had those solo breaks in there. We gave piano, guitar, sax, all solo, and then the drums tied together. It's interesting. It doesn't have a bridge for all the music heads out there. It's a song without a bridge, but yeah, it's fun. It's a good opener too. Gets people charged up.
So I'm also going to play a Fubar song, but
hell yeah,
I don't have one in mind. So I'm going to tell you what I have from them, and then you guys can help me decide which one to play. So just give me 1 second to find them in my directories.
Shout out to Jake Hirsch, who's the guitar player for that band. He's a cool dude. I've never met him in person yet, unfortunately, because of all this stuff. I don't think I've had the chance to, but he's a cool dude on Facebook and on Instagram. He supports Blackridge, and I mean Fubar is really cool. And him and Tony, our sax player, I believe, are like kind of friends and stuff. So
yeah,
shout out to him.
Shout out to the entire band.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire band is just phenomenal. Like Paul said, our sax player, Tony, recently gave us all their latest album, Get Off the Bus. And it's just, the entire album is just a slammer. There's not a bad song on it. The entire thing is just so musical and so well-versed. And they're such a dynamic band. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of people around nowadays that are really getting back into having a big ensemble with their group, but it's not just, the cut and dry guitar, bass, drums, vocal. And I really, really like that. I really think that a lot of people, especially us, obviously, with the sax and keyboards, are really getting into more of a, almost like a orchestral type sound. You know what I mean? Back like they did in the 70s, of course. And I really, really like that. And I really like this record from Fubar. I mean, even like we were talking about before with the album art, sometimes I sit there and stare at it for minutes. It's just so intricate. They're such an intricate band.
I think I might actually be able to show the album art. Let me see if I can figure that out.
Do it. Definitely do that. Now, did you say, now I didn't hear this incorrectly. You said that they got that done on Fiverr, but it's of one of their dads.
So it's it's a cartoon, but yeah, the bus driver is one of their dads.
And they paid $5 for that.
I'm sure they paid more than that, but Fiverr starts at $5.
Oh, okay. I see. Let's see if I can get this to pop up here. We're gonna try and get Raina Pelly to do our artwork here coming up. She's amazing. She did our last artwork too.
There it is.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, like I said, that's the first stack in my CD collection. Sometimes I walk past when I'm leaving my bedroom and I just sit there and stare at it. It's so cool. It reminds me of those old like King Crimson and Floyd albums they used to have. They're so intricate and so cool.
Yeah, you can just look around and find something new, every time. Every time you look at it, it's neat.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do this too. Hold on one second.
Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff, stickers. I got a bunch of merch here. You can't even look at this, ladies and
You're
gentlemen.
like a real musician, Paul. You got so many cases and guitars with a keyboard behind you.
Yeah,
It's a lot smaller, but there's the Blackridge album cover.
hell yeah!
Because I recently started using bigger images on my website. So,
Size queen.
well, so here's what happened. The theme that I'm using likes large images for certain sections, and I was making all of my album covers 400 pixels by 400 pixels because there's a ton of them on my website, and you have so much space on your hosting. Well, when I switched over to this new theme, it was making things jumbled because it was expecting big images, and I was like, so now I have big ones.
Mini Blackridge EP. Well, that's fine.
So, all right. So Fubar, I actually have, I think 3 of their albums. Let me double check that.
Got the whole
I didn't even know they
discography.
had 3 albums. I'll have to find the next.
I'm sorry, I have 2. The other one is that _ Mac OS X folder that you sometimes get. All right, so I've
that folder.
I have
That's
Get
my
on
favorite album.
Get on the Bus and The Hunt for Inspiration. I have 2 tracks off of The Hunt for Inspiration there, Everybody and Junk. And then I have the full EP for Get on the Bus. So that's Company Time, Daily Nonsense, Don't Arrest Me, Fingers Crossed, and Hindsight. It's that album.
Mike, do you have any particular one?
Play Hindsight.
Okay.
I really enjoy that.
I highlighted Don't Arrest Me. I thought for sure that was the one.
Yeah.
I really like the groove on this one. It reminds me of Blackridge, to be honest with you.
It reminds me of us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to listen to Blackridge, Live Fast and Leave a Good-Looking Corpse, and Hindsight by Fubar. And we'll be back with some more questions for Paul and Mike. Those of you that are tuned in live, as I said earlier, you're not going to hear those right now. But if you go to buildthescene.com, normally I would say it's 6 a.m. tomorrow, but it's not going to be able to edit it before then. So go to buildthescene.com at 8 p.m. and it will be live on the radio station. Down at the bottom of the website, there's a little music player. Press the play button, and you will hear the episode. And then, of course, go to all those radio stations that I mentioned at the beginning of the show and listen to it throughout the week. Pretty much every day it's available somewhere and all over the world, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to bring us back in as if we heard the music, and then I'll ask you some off-the-wall questions now because I didn't ask you any of those. And that's my MO.
Right on.
Okay, that was Fubar, Hindsight, and right before that you heard Blackridge, Live Fast and Leave a Good-Looking Corpse. With me right now are Mike and Paul from Blackridge. And if you're just tuning in, you missed about 25 minutes worth of interview already. So
You missed the good stuff.
So you could hop over to buildthescene.com where the show is available 24/7, 365. Or if it is still the week of September 25th through the 21st through the October 1st, you can go to any of the streaming. Yeah. You can go to any of the streaming stations at specific times and hear it on their stations. Birmingham, United Kingdom. I love that they're on board. That's XRP Radio. That's where Ozzy was from.
That's where so many great bands are from, man.
Yeah.
Ozzy, Judas Priest, Saxon, Y&T. All the old new wave of British heavy metal bands seem to be from Birmingham. A lot of great music came out of there.
Now, is it Birmingham or Birmingham?
Well, I'm saying it with an American accent. If you hear them say it, that A is not there.
Birmingham. Birmingham.
I have a
kind of pork. Birmingham.
Yeah, it does.
That's a Paul Guerrini joke right there.
There, that's better. It's like I have us all discombobulated now because I brought the album art in and it moved us all around. I can bounce us all over the place. Ready?
Bill, come on, man. Jesus, be easier.
Now it's only me.
Okay.
It's like a virtual roller coaster or something.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, really. Got to calm down with that. Power.
Okay. I'm Paul. I ask a lot of the same questions over and over again because I talk to so many different bands and we get different answers. But Mike hasn't been on, so there's a chance that I might ask something that Paul's already answered, but Mike would not have answered.
All right.
Okay.
So we'll start off with the hard one. Mike, I want you to tell me about an embarrassing moment on stage that Paul caused. See, now he's making those faces.
Our first big fight as a band, we were playing in H.R. Steinhaus one time, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but Paul and I got into it in the middle of the song, and I started hitting my cymbals real loud, and I hit every single cymbal that I owned, and I was going all double bass, all hammed out, just kind of just being a general jag-off. But he got so upset that he walked off stage. He put his guitar down, walked off stage, and did not come back for the rest of the set. Looking back, I guess it was kind of more or less my fault. But to be honest with you, that's really the worst thing I can imagine happening that Paul has caused.
Okay, Paul, reverse the roles.
Oh my god. Well, okay, this is very easy. We recorded a thing. What was it was for Armstrong. The network was Armstrong. It was I wish I could remember the name. You remember the thing we recorded? It was at
Bar None.
At Bar None with Chelsea Rittenauer was the host. Yeah. I remember her. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it either.
Yeah, well, we played that, and we were all psyched, to play these songs, get some stuff recorded, professionally done, and everything like that. And we were kind of having some tension at the time. We were still pretty new with our sax player. It was last summer, so we were still trying to get our bearings and stuff like that. Well, I don't know what happened. We weren't really communicating too well at that time, and some of the songs were kind of new. And I didn't want to play this song called Long Time, which is actually coming up on our new EP, Beware, coming out soon. I didn't want to play that.
Mistake free, I might add.
And Mike clicked into it live. We did this awesome interview with the whole band. I mean, it was fun. It was cool. It was a good time. And then he clicked into that song. I mean, I was done. I was done. It almost caused a fist fight afterwards. And it was pretty bad. Me and Mike are on much better terms now, than last year. We've hashed a lot of stuff out and talked through a lot of stuff and kind of figured out who we really each are outside of the band, sort of. I think that's kind of important because I get too business sometimes with the band. And I'm like, oh, hey, let's do this. But me and Mike are I guess we could say we're friends now, but back then when he did that, it was I wanted to kill him. He wanted to kill me. It was bad. It's bad.
Yeah, it was rough. I've never actually been in a fist fight before in my life, but I looked over the stage that night. I was like, okay, this is going to happen today. And I was thinking in my mind, the best way to try to take him down. Paul has a lot of experience. Paul went to Blairsville for high school and everything, and he has a lot of experience with wrestling. And at one point, he, I guess, was one of the best wrestlers in the state. So I'm trying to think okay, I could try to go low, but that probably won't work. I could try to attack the head, but maybe that won't work. I was on a drum riser at the time, so I was literally thinking well, what if I just go off the drum riser and give him a good people's elbow right to the forehead? What do you think would happen? But like you said, we were able to hash everything out, and we're very, very good friends. We're very close now, and like Paul said, that's really important to have a working band is to be close with everybody.
Mike, so
it's a long time to figure out. Sorry for interrupting.
That would have been good for the video, though. Come on, that would have been great.
That would have been awesome.
If you end up in close hand-to-hand combat, you want to control his wrists because he goes wherever his wrist goes.
Don't tell him my secrets, Bill. Don't give him any hints. Come on, man. Use that leverage. You got to use the leverage.
That's the one thing I remember.
I have no leverage, dude. I'm 110.
Are you testing me right now? Terrible.
That's like the one thing I remember from my neighbor growing up, who was a black belt in karate and taught karate, and the other person that worked with him at that dojo, I guess it's called, was Steve Craven. That's how I met Steve.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, right on.
So
that's an intimidating way to meet Steve.
I wouldn't want to fight Steve Craven. That's
No.
one guy. I wouldn't even want to have him in my band because I'd be scared to be like, "Hey, that bass line," well, sorry, I'd be too afraid.
That show I was telling you about earlier, where Matt played with Doppler effect. Wally Wright from Skell was in Step 11 at the time, and his uncle was there, and I don't want to get into too much detail, but his uncle got very drunk. And there was an argument going on between his uncle and this other guy because his uncle thought that the guy was looking at his wife, and Steve went over and tried to calm it down. And I saw it starting, and I was back by the drum set, and it was at what used to be Cook's place, the Barefoot Bar and Grill, which is a tiny place.
Jeez. Yeah, it is.
Well, so I saw it starting, and I went to grab the other person who was helping me put the show on. And I literally walked off the stage, went through the kitchen, and came out the other door. And by the time I got to the other door, Wally's uncle was laying on the floor in blood. And Steve would probably get mad if he knows I told that story on the air. But
somebody tag Steve Craven right now.
We've never seen anything crazy like that. But the latest Rock for Life we played over in August, that was at the beginning of the month, there was a band that was loading up their stuff right as we were about to get on stage, and they were causing some kind of issue, and somebody told them to be quiet, and they weren't listening. So Steve immediately came over. Immediately, it was like a night and day difference. The band flipped the light switch on. Everybody was quiet and orderly, and it was really funny.
You don't want to mess with
that
Steve.
Enforcement thing go around, But yeah, Steve, again, he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing supporter of ours, and we're very lucky to have him in our family. Without those guys, we really, honestly, probably wouldn't be where we're at. Rock for Life is probably our biggest attendance every summer.
And I got to point out, I think this story has maybe been told before, but we actually met Paul at Rock for Life. Our singer told us that he was
Rock for Life. It wasn't Rock for Life. It was the Rock for Life event, but it was not Rock for Life. It was the
Islam Ball Field. It was the Islam Ball Field. It was one of those events, but our singer had just told us that our saxophone / singer had told us that he was leaving the band. And that just happened to be the same show that Paul saw us for the first time at, which is so weird. And then Cody, our bass player, pointed Paul out to me and said, "That dude can sing Led Zeppelin." I was like, there's no way. Nobody in this area. I haven't heard him, so there's no way he can sing Led Zeppelin. And then we talked to him at Rock for Life, and I think 2 weeks later we were in a band together, and now 2 years later, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a Paul story that you probably don't know. But I'm going to go back to like 2004 for a moment.
We've heard a lot.
So
we've heard a lot.
Yeah, so, a good story of it.
So I met Paul at the 31st Street Pub during Emergenza Fest. Ill Fated was playing, and I talked to him about coming on the Pennsylvania Rock Show, which was pretty much brand new then. And at the time, we did live, like the bands would come and play live in my living room, right where I'm sitting, actually.
Wow.
And but it was I told them they had to play acoustic because it's my living room.
Right.
Well, Paul did not tell Ill Fated that, and they showed up with an electric drum kit and amps and all kinds of stuff.
I bet your wife was happy, man.
That's exactly where I was going. and I wasn't all that happy either. But then we pulled it off, and I was like, oh man, we can do electric in here.
Oh God.
And that's where I got in trouble.
You open that can of worms, Bill. Just keep it closed. One time.
So there was a long time where I didn't talk to Paul because I was mad because he got me in trouble. But he and I had a talk at Rock for Life one year, and I was like, hey man, you don't even know you did this, but this is what you did.
You put me in the doghouse, Paul.
So yeah,
there he is.
New story for you, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the first.
That one for sure.
Never
That's
heard
funny.
that one.
But
Never heard that one.
All right,
Yeah,
so
He's an awesome guy, man. He's an amazing singer. Again, I know I keep saying the same things, but again, we're just so lucky to have him in our family. Paul always says that he's the least musical of the band, but sometimes
I've heard him say that
he's the most musical of the band. You know?
Yeah, especially like on the I'll do this one more time here. How about this on Good Time to Go? That's horrible. And the new album, Beware, tentatively titled Beware. He's awesome. I mean, in the studio, he doesn't just like go in there and sing one line. He's working with Matt. They do like crazy harmonies. They work on different layers. Like sometimes like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like it's insane. It's amazing actually to even like hit those harmonies and like kind of know those in your brain where to go and like, hey, he literally has free reign to be like, hey, will this sound cool if I sing it like this? It's like, Paul, like, holy crap, man, you're amazing.
You can sing like that, Paul. That was pretty good, man.
Nah.
If you're gonna do that, you gotta give the horns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Don't hire me for a metal band, please.
All right, so next question is kind of a timely one. 5 days ago, September 19th, 35 years ago, was when the hearings about the 15 songs that they didn't want on the air happened.
Oh,
Dee
man.
Snider was in the hot seat,
Yeah,
and the question was about whether or not those songs should be allowed on the air because they had some controversial content. But my question for you is, and this was definitely an 80s thing. If we played a Black Ridge song backwards, what would we hear? Because there's a lot of that going on back there.
You said this is a PG show?
I did. Just choose your words wisely.
Mike, do you want to take a stab at this? I mean,
I don't know. I think if you played a Black Ridge song backwards, you would hear, I don't know, cooking instructions. We'll make sure that we'll make sure whatever you play backwards. It's a long enough song to be played backwards. About 7 minutes. I feel like I could fit a good cake recipe on a 7-minute track backwards. And with today's technology, we could definitely do that. It'll be like back whenever they used to have what was it? Was it the White Album, Paul, or was it Revolver that had the Paul is Dead lyrics?
It was the White Album, I believe, yeah, and Revolution number 9, yeah.
That'll actually be inscribed on the album. We'll have to get a vinyl press somewhere just for you, Bill. That way we'll be able to do that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Paul makes a mean tart, so I mean.
Let's go 2 more questions because we're pushing my time limit on the show. But
okay, right on.
We're at 43 minutes, not counting my information in the middle about not playing music. But it's an hour-long show. I got to fit some music in too.
Right.
Music. What are we doing here?
All right. So if you could play with any musician in the history of the world, and in between shows, sit down on a bench with them and ask them only one question, who would you sit with? And what would you ask? And where would you want to play the show with them?
Well, I'll go. This is really easy for me. This is very easy. Paul McCartney, no doubt. And I would sit down. I would ask him, can you sign these adoption papers, please? Yeah, I would love to play. Could you imagine playing at like the console with him, like Pittsburgh, like home field advantage, man? That would be, or even just like or Heinz Field, like one of those shows. Like, oh God, that would be like a dream. That would be a total dream. What about you, Mike?
For me, it would have to be Frank Moreno from Mahogany Rush. I know that kind of sounds like an out there one, but he's such a phenomenal guitarist. And I actually listened to their live album, Double Trouble, the other day. I think it was live at like the Capitol Hall over in DC or something. And he's just a phenomenal guitarist, man. Everything they put in front of him is ridiculous. If it's a Hendrix song, he crushes it. If it's a Doors song, he crushes it. He has tons of different originals. He's a great instrumental guitarist. I've really been into instrumental music lately, and I think that just playing with someone like that, a virtuoso like that, would be incredible. I don't know what I would ask him. I'd probably just ask him a million questions about his career, but I've always wanted to play at MSG. I think that playing at Madison Square Garden would be a dream come true. My dad actually put the seats into the Yankees and the Mets stadiums. And whenever I was a kid in 5th grade, I actually lived in New York for a little bit, and we used to walk past MSG all the time, and you could see all the big name acts and stuff come up on the billboards as I was walking underneath the rotunda, and I'll never forget that. I always wanted to have my name up on that billboard.
Two summers ago, we took a bus tour to New York, my family, and we drove past MSG, and I was like, we're going to stop there. That's going to be so cool. I'm going to get going. And we just drove past it. I was like, are you kidding me? All these cool places we've gone. You just said, hey, there's Madison Square Garden. And we kept going.
Yeah. You like I said, you almost have to live there to get the full scope of it. You could be there for a month and not see everything. There's so many things to do, man. I'll never forget one of my best experiences was at the, believe it or not, the NBA Hall of Fame they have down there. They have all these different basketballs, all these bronze basketballs of all the different important players like Barkley and Jordan and Kevin Garnett and stuff. They had their handprint stamped in the basketball, and you could walk around and put your hand up to them. And I have a whole bunch of pictures from there. I really, really enjoyed it. That's one of the things that sticks out most in my memory.
Well, as I said, we took a bus tour, and your impression there is that you're going to be on a bus, right?
Right.
In the 2 days we were in New York City, we walked over 17 miles on our bus tour.
Jesus Christ.
And I would do it again. It was such a blast.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. What year was that?
I was 2 summers ago.
Oh, 2 summers ago.
Okay, right on.
Awesome.
Right on.
And it was my parents' idea. So it was my parents, my wife, my 3 kids, and I, and like 70 other people. But
wow.
It was really cool. If you've never done it, once the pandemic is cleared up enough that we're allowed to go places again, you should look into it. We did it through Thomas Tours in New Kensington. And
shout out.
Yeah, and the price actually, it's 2 nights in a hotel, bus up, bus back, tour guide. It was like just under $600 for an adult. And it included 2 meals, it included the hotel. I mean, it was well worth it.
But you can't beat that.
All right, last question for you guys.
Woo.
Make it a dinger.
Did you just challenge me?
I did.
Okay. Who's your Dave Grohl? And what I mean by that is the Foo Fighters are known for bringing people up on stage and letting them play with them. What band would you want to go up on stage with? So who's your Dave Grohl?
What band? Do they have to still be playing?
No.
All right, you know what? I got it. Kiss. Kiss would be the band. Dude, that would be so. I would request. I'd be like, I don't even know, the Potato Man or something stupid. I'd just be totally random. I would want to have a persona though. Got the Starman, the Demon, the Catman, the Spaceman. I'd be the Potato Man, the Spud Man, or something stupid, really dumb, really dumb. But no, that would be awesome. Big platform, heels and stuff. Just, dude, could you imagine being a member of Kiss and just it would just be like playing, I don't even know, just the greatest show of all time every night. It would be amazing. You just have that experience for
I have a Gene Simmons story. I'll tell it to you guys after we go off the air.
All right.
Okay, right on.
The after show.
Yeah. Okay, Mike.
I would say that mine would be Animals as Leaders. They're one of the newer bands I've been listening to. And again, they're an instrumental group, and their guitarist, Toast of the Bossy, is one of the most musical and most versatile and knowledgeable people, it seems like, on the planet. I recently saw them a couple summers ago with our old saxophonist, and I was probably from here 10 foot away. 10 foot away. I was about to give you a little guesstimation in my room, but obviously you can't do that being on a webcam. But the stuff that he was playing was just ridiculous. You know what I mean? To see that in real life, to be in a band with that, I mean, my vocabulary as a musician would expand tenfold in one practice. Imagine being on a whole tour with a band like that. Imagine how good of a player you would be.
Cool.
That's what I would have to say.
All right, last thing. We do have right below Paul. I can't get myself to point at it. There it is. We have blackridgeofficial.com on the screen. Where else can they find you online?
Oh, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/BlackRidgeOfficial. You can find us on Instagram, BlackRidgeOfficial. You can find us on Twitter at Blackridge Music. I'm sorry about that, but you can find us there, at least Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter. We don't have too many followers. And yeah, like you said, BlackRidgeOfficial.com. It's currently down right now because like everything, the pandemic, no money, no moolah, so it's hard. We're working on getting it. Yeah, it'll be back soon.
It takes you to Facebook. It works.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thanks to you, Bill. Hey, I gotta say thank you publicly. Bill helped us out with that. Our website, if you went to it before, it was just like there's nothing here, but Bill helped us route it there to Facebook. So thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
I didn't know that. Thank you, Bill. That's awesome.
Yeah.
There were ulterior motives. I knew that I went to the website because I was going to pull some information for this, and it didn't come up. And I'm like, wait. So I was like, it's got to work. So I told him how to do it so that I could still put it down there in that little banner.
Yeah,
that's how they get you. Paul has a lot of experience doing that kind of stuff. And we have a really, really nice website. We just got to, like he said, pay for it to get the URL back up there. But once we do, you'll be really blown away. He put a lot of time and effort into it, and I really, really enjoy it. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it was nothing maybe it was just kind of a simple GoDaddy thing. Like Bill's really good at like designing websites and stuff like that. But yeah, it was it was pretty simple, but it was good for what it is. So yeah.
Mike, you've probably been on some of my sites and don't even know it.
Probably.
I guarantee you I have.
Like Skell. And there's some local businesses that you've probably been on too. We won't go into that on the air. But
did you do the Borstal Boys?
I did not.
Okay.
I did Royal Honey.
Okay. I clicked one and I saw your name on it. Maybe that was.
Yep, it was probably Royal Honey.
Okay, yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, man, you're awesome at that stuff.
And the rockforlifeconcert.com, that's me too.
Oh, really? Right on. I really like that one.
Thank you.
They should like do something. I had this idea. I'll throw it out before we go off the air here. They should maybe like sometime when like they're changing between bands or something. Maybe not every changeover or turnover. They should bring like somebody up on stage and like who does things for the scene, like you or maybe even like Raina or somebody like that doesn't normally get like an on stage recognition. Maybe just take 5 minutes to like say, hey, like these guys are awesome for what they do, and like that would be cool, man. I thought that would be so cool. I thought about that.
So I'm going to tell this story and then we'll head off and we'll talk off the air. So I used to do, starting with the 8th year of Pennsylvania Rock Show's existence. I did some anniversary shows where we raised money. The first one, all the money went to Alicia Ruby, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with.
Definitely. Yeah.
She was actually one of my students. I was with her parents when she got the original diagnosis.
Wow.
And I was her introduction to Rock for Life.
Wow.
But the first one I ever did was I actually, my plan was to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. My best friend growing up had Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, and they granted him a wish. So someday I'm still going to raise money for them. But I was in the planning process, and that's when Alicia got her diagnosis, and I was like, well, no one really knows what the benefit part of it was, so I switched it up. I called Matt and Steve, and we did it at Island.
Wow, man,
and we raised just under $3,000 in one day.
Wow, dude, that's awesome, man.
But
dude, planted a seed there, Bill.
The years after that, we did. I want to say I did 5 of them. And we ran them at the Leechburg Moose, and every other one, the money went to Rock for Life, because it really is something I believe in. But what the funny part of the story is, I did not MC a single one of those because I don't want to go up on stage.
Oh, Bill, next Rock for Life, you're at least playing Chains with us on Beware. I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna get you on the Cauldron solo,
and we're gonna give you some recognition because you deserve it, man, for what you do here and everything. So we really appreciate it, definitely. I know.
To have the PA Rock Show going as long as it have is a monumental achievement in itself. Definitely. To have that kind of dedication and motivation to be staying on for this long, I really commend you for it.
Thank you. especially with awesome quality too. Come on, people, get on the PA Rock Show. What are you doing?
Yeah, really.
So we're going to go ahead and end the show here. Make sure you check us out each and every Friday for new releases. 8 p.m. on buildscene.com, 6 a.m. if you just want to check out the podcast. Black Ridge does have some merch available. I'm going to go ahead and say go to blackridgeofficial.com, send them a message. Probably the easiest way to get a hold of you through Facebook, right?
Yeah.
I would say so.
It's raining.
That would be correct.
Blackridge
Ah!
I want to thank you two for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Bill.
Hey,
Appreciate
thank
it, man.
you for having us, man.
And for those of you that hung out with us and listen to the show and listen to all the radio stations that we're on, I want to thank you as well. We'll see you next week. I actually kind of had myself ready for this. Next week is Melina, who is the bass player for Chip and the Charge Ups. She recently released her own solo album. On October 9th, it will be 4 for All. Brady Novotny on the 16th. Gary Burke III on the 23rd, which happens to be my wife's birthday. October 30th is Jeff Benton. Then we have Gonto and Friends. I can't tell you who the friends are yet, but no, there's a reason. It's a really cool collaboration, but I'm like one of the few people that know, and I'm not allowed to tell anybody.
Right
On the 13th of November, I have 3 Vultures. Somehow I missed scheduling the 20th of November. So if anybody's out there and wants to be on the day after my birthday, so you can give me a birthday present by doing that.
Come on, people.
That's 11/20/20 is open. Royal Honey, who we mentioned earlier, is on December 4th. November 27th is Brad Abbott. Don't want to forget about Brad.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
He's a good one. He's a great guy.
Yeah, good voice.
On December 11th, this one's already been recorded and is on Facebook, but it's Joel Miller, who's the author of Memoir of a Roadie, which is a really awesome book. I read it in like 8 hours, and it's 485 pages long.
Damn,
bro.
And then after that, December 18th, we have Robert Wagner, Jazz, and Sean, and whoever their guest musicians are for Half Wheel will be on Christmas Day. Then we have Parabellum on January 1st. After the Fall will be joining us on January 8th. And Corners of Sanctuary out of the Philadelphia area will be joining us on the 15th. Those last 2 bands are both RFL record bands. And it's the first time I've booked both of those bands numerous times on my shows, but it's the first time I actually went through their record label to book them.
Oh,
so
that's awesome. Cool. Well, since we're talking dates here too, since we're talking dates, before I forget, we are opening for I know we're running late on time. We're opening for the legendary Vanilla Fudge at Jurgles. You can't see this ticket, but we have them available December 6th. So get a hold of us for tickets. The legendary Vanilla Fudge featuring Carmine Appice on drums. He's played with every band in history, so look it up.
All right. So we'll see you next week.